Hello, and welcome to this mission debrief for Operation Disney 2020. In this short video, you will find some hopefully helpful tips, some interesting pictures and clips, and some observations from our recent weekend at Walt Disney World. Now, I do have to warn you, there will be pictures and video clips from some of the rides and attractions there, so just be forewarned. Our mission parameters for this were pretty straightforward. Maximize fun and minimize stress. And we had just a short handful of primary objectives, which were mostly to do the things that we had never done before, mostly because of crowds or because fast passes weren't available. And we had some secondary objectives as well. Some of those things we had done before, but really they were things that we really didn't take the time to spend and relax and go at a leisurely pace for walking around places like Animal Kingdom. So we wanted to make sure that we had time to do that on this trip. So let's get into it. Let's start off with our mission essential gear. Those cooling towels really worked, and I can't overstress the importance of having a smartphone and the My Disney Experience app. We arrived on property about an hour after opening in our own car, and the first thing we noticed indicating capacity reduction was that the parking lot was only about a third full. We went direct to Animal Kingdom, and our first stop there was Kilimanjaro Safaris. And as you can see, one of the precautions they are taking is on the Jeeps that you drive in, there's a plexiglass divider separating the rows of individuals. But the animals didn't seem to care that there was any kind of restrictions or any kind of unusual activity going on. They seemed to be acting in their normal manner. The next stop was over to Pandora so we could ride Flight of Passage. Now, we had never been on this ride before, but I will tell you that it absolutely lived up to all the hype. The Disney app said the wait time was 45 minutes, but it took us exactly 31 minutes to get on board the ride. By that point in time, we had done some sightseeing and some of that leisurely strolling around I mentioned, and it was time to get our first snack of the day. And we were going to do that at the Shreks Cantina in Pandora. Your food ordering for the quick service restaurants is done via the app, so once you open it up, you go to mobile food orders, create a new order, and then select the restaurant that you want to go to. You can do that by hitting the map. You have to pinch and zoom to scroll down to the park that you're at or the hotel that you're at. And once you find it, you can select the restaurant that you want to mobile order food from. Select the window. It's a 30-minute window where you will arrive to pick up your food. And then you start your order by adding all the items that you want. And if you have your notifications turned on, the app will let you know when your time window is open. You can go head to the restaurant at that point, select on the app that you're there, and they will start processing your order. Once your order is ready, they will let you know, and if that's the point where they will allow you into the restaurant and you can find seats to sit down and eat either inside or on the patio, depending on which tables are open. And of course, no trip to Animal Kingdom is complete in the summer without a quick trip down the Kali River Rapids and then making your way over to Expedition Everest. Now, for both of these rides, the app said the wait time was 45 minutes, but we found it to be 30 minutes or less. And after several hours of adventure, we headed over to the Nomad Lounge. Now, this was our first time visiting this particular restaurant, and it was definitely worth the stop. Great drinks and great snacks. After a day of adventure at Animal Kingdom, it was off to our resort, the Riviera Resort. First time staying here, and we've stayed at a lot of places at Disney, and this may become one of our favorites. Great setup, 2 queen-size beds and a day bed, so ample space for a party of 5. If you did all the pre-check-in and pre-arrival stuff on the website, then all you have to do is have your notifications on your app. They'll let you know when your room is ready and send you your room number, and you can go straight to your room without going through the front desk. We wanted to get in some pool time, and they have a great pool for adults and a great setup at the pool for kids as well, with a small splash area. For dinner that night, we were off to Topolino's Terrace, which sits on the 10th floor on the rooftop of one of the towers, with an amazing view of the Walt Disney World area. For any of the sit-down dining restaurants, you can expect to get a temperature check on your way in, and you can check in on your app up to 15 minutes before your reservation time, so you might be able to get seated a little bit early. On Sunday, we were off to Hollywood Studios, so we head down to the Skyliner at the Riviera about 20 minutes before they opened. They started running early. We got to Caribbean Beach's transfer station, and there was a bit of a line there because they had not started running the Hollywood Studios yet. We lucked out and jumped on an express bus, and off we were. After temperature screening and security checks, we were right off to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We were in line for the ride by 9:10 and had completed the ride by 9:30. While we missed the great movie ride, this is still a great addition. Then we were off to Slinky Dog Dash to try and squeeze that in before 10 o'clock came and we had to join the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. So joining the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance, of course you start with the Disney app on your phone, open it up and select the menu from the bottom right, hit Join Virtual Queues, and again you'll be asked to join the virtual queue if you haven't done so already. And this is the screen that you'll be on waiting for 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock to show and hitting refresh just by swiping down below the line just like that. I had a countdown timer that gave me a 5-second count to the hour, so I listened to that and started swiping at about 2 seconds prior. You swipe down, you'll see the join button. It should automatically come up with everyone who's in your party who's already in the park, and you'll hit join to bring those into the virtual queue. We were lucky and got boarding group 15. Once they start boarding, you'll get an estimated return time, and then once your group is called, you'll have 1 hour to make it there to board the ride. While waiting for our boarding group to be called, we headed over to the Millennium Falcon and got on board Smuggler's Run. The wait time advertised was 50 minutes, but we made it through in about 30. And then we spent some time wandering around Black Spire Outpost, staying hydrated, and really trying to avoid these guys. And of course, taking time to do a little bit of shopping. And honestly, how do you not buy one of these? And then it was time to head over to Shreks Cantina for our reservation. We checked in on the app 15 minutes early and got seated early. We enjoyed some music. My wife ordered a blurb fire, and I had a blue bantha, which was blue milk served chilled with a bantha-inspired vanilla butter sugar cookie on top. While making this video, I came across some video footage from last year when we visited Galaxy's Edge. You can see the comparison in the 2 years. After taking almost full advantage of the hour you have to return to board Rise of the Resistance, it was our turn. I was going to narrate this, but I'll just let it play. This is so much more than a ride. It truly is an experience.
Okay, take this corridor through the door. Hurry and don't get caught. Good job, recruits. Thanks to your heroism, the location of the Resistance base is secure. Bravo!
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video report. Overall, our mission to Disney 2020 was a success. We got to accomplish all of our primary objectives and our secondary objectives as well. And that might actually have been my favorite part. Now, the rides we set out to go on that we hadn't been on before, Flight of Passage, Rise of the Resistance, were awesome. The Imagineers continue to impress. But taking the time to explore the trails in Animal Kingdom that we had never taken the time to explore before. We got some great photos of waterfalls, and of course I got yet another video of the backside of water, which is another story. But overall, I'm so glad we went this year, not just because the crowds were low and not just because the wait times were reduced, but because we got to experience Disney a new way that we hadn't done before. It's been 45 years since I went the first time as a kid. It's been 28 years since my wife and I went the first time as a couple. And I have to tell you, it's still as magical as ever. Now, I know everyone has to make their own decisions about going to Disney in the current environment. And if you do decide to go, I hope your trip is successful, I hope it's safe, and I hope it's as magical as ours was. Oh, and those white chocolate chip cookies I mentioned from Minnie's Bakery. I don't know how many calories are in one of these, but they are delicious.